This is the Unit 2 lecture for ET 755 ELA Staff Development Course, Vocabulary Interventions for Struggling Readers. This brief lecture will focus on two methods of informal vocabulary assessments, the closed method and the IRI method. This lecture was created with the support of the Access Center. The Access Center is an educational staff development online resource that promotes the improving of learner outcomes for all students. There are four types of vocabulary: listening, the words we know to understand what we hear; speaking, the words we use when we speak; reading, the words we know to understand what we read; and writing, the words we use when writing. How can we assess vocabulary capacities? We're going to explore two examples of informal assessment methods. Resources to access formal assessment tools and other informal assessment tools will be included at the end of the lecture. The two assessments that we're going to discuss are the closed method and IRI, or informal reading inventory. To perform an individual closed assessment, the instructor should select a representative sample of text of approximately 275 to 300 words. The selection also needs to be unfamiliar to the student. The example passage that I am using is only for a demonstration. This would not be a good sample to use to assess students' vocabulary. Also, this sample size is too short. After choosing a selection, you are to leave the first and last sentences of the selection intact. This is demonstrated by the red text. Then you are to systematically remove a word from the paragraph. Now, I have chosen to remove every fifth word. After you remove the words, you are to leave spaces so that the student does recognize that there is supposed to be a word there. Then you would evaluate the student's ability to correctly supply the deleted words. An informal reading inventory, or IRI, is rather simple to complete as well. You would need to collect the supplies that are listed on the slide. Then you would have each student read to you individually. You need to know what characteristics you are looking for before the reading begins. You also need to have devised a notation method so that your assessments can be swift and as unintrusive as possible to the reading. For example, you can decide to place a check mark in the top right corner of the named index card if your student is reading at level, and a check mark in the top left corner of the index card if your student reads below level. You should always use multiple assessments to assess the strength of your student's vocabulary base. This concludes the Unit 2 lecture for Vocabulary Interventions for Struggling Readers.